Hey Nina, thank you so much for joining this Orca social chat with us today. Please introduce yourself very quickly and tell us what Ecophon does.
So we're in the business to provide good sound environments in order to help people to work and communicate. So that means we design, produce and manufacture and sell acoustic ceilings, wall panels, screens, etc. I want to mention as well that we're a knowledge-driven company. It's been really important to us all along. My role is to facilitate the spread of our acoustic knowledge and raise awareness via social channels.
That's excellent. And I mean, taking into account that Ecophon is a very knowledge-driven company, as you were saying, I guess content is key for you guys, isn't it?
Content, yeah, is definitely important. Our mission is to earn global leadership. And I guess that means that we want the market to consider us as the thought leaders. And traditionally, we've been doing this via research studies. We've been speaking at conferences. We've got staff that are dedicated to just spreading acoustic awareness, I guess. And that's all good, but we also believe that our story, it affects everyone. Acoustics and sounds affect your well-being and your productivity, but few people are actually aware of this. And it's also not always prioritized that much in the design process. Social media helps us, I guess, expand our network, and also very important for us to position our brand and the people that we have that are dedicated to talking about acoustics, to brand them as well. And I guess social media really suits that approach that we have, our knowledge-driven approach that you mentioned. That's not to say that it's a piece of cake, though.
Wouldn't you say that it's fair to say that you suffer from sort of like a teacher syndrome? What I mean by that is like everything you say is interesting to your peers, but not so much to the actual audience you're speaking to.
The teacher syndrome explains it quite well.
What kind of content do you come up with to actually become a cool teacher?
It's a slow process to change both, the corporate culture that we have and the external perceptions. I guess we do that both via establishing new channels that are more suited for those target groups, and also via we've been developing some content, some utility based content. So that's utility as in you and me, really content that's really useful to the target audience. Some examples of that would be that we've done an app for students, a study app, provides a soundscape that helps them concentrate while they're studying. That was developed together with TED speaker Julian Treasure. More recently, we've done a digital interactive magazine as well. And on the wish list for this year, we want to develop some acoustic checklists, some sound checklists for various different environments. So just content that's useful to our target audience, I guess.
So how do you manage to split out the audiences and define who you actually want to be targeting?
There is sort of an infinite number of people that are affected by our message. So what we decided to do in our strategic work was to group them together based on their interests. So we've divided them into 4 groups: people, profit, planet, and design. And this then helps us, it guides us in terms of who are we talking to, what channels should we be using, and of course what we should be talking about, what content we should be sharing.
That interest-based audience approach, do you only talk to those people via your official social media channels, or do you also leverage the massive second-degree network that you have via all of your employees?
My aim is to identify some ambassadors that I then can educate and work with. I'm also working with our French team. They've got a really good group together, really good energy. They spur each other on, and I would like to sort of see if I can use them as best practice for the rest of the group. European employees are apparently much less likely than Americans to do posts about work. But in saying that, I still think that there are people out there. You just need to find them, and you can educate them, and then also, I guess, show the benefits to those who might be a bit more skeptical.
Are you also sometimes being educated by your students, telling you industry trends, listening in and what they actually expect from you?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the interaction like that tends to happen on the personal accounts. That's where we see the most valuable networks develop. I think it's difficult to say that a single sort of interaction has led to, in social, has led to a business decision. But I mean, our online presence and our presence in social media has definitely, influenced research projects. We've gained lots of insights to our what matters to our target audiences, and it's even led to opportunities to do national TV spots. So yeah, it's definitely paying off for us.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the metrics that you use in Ecophon to determine whether the content that you're putting out resonates with your interest-based audiences?
We use a bit of A/B testing. We follow all the sort of regular sort of engagement type metrics. And I think the key for us and for many other companies is just to look at trends over time. So you can establish a baseline as well and see this is, on average how we perform. Consistency is important to us. So absolutely looking at the long-term results as opposed to just staring yourself blind at some tweet that didn't go well. We've done that, for example, in our marketing of the interactive digital magazine that I mentioned. We had a whole matrix actually of various target audiences that we wanted to reach, and basically just changing the message slightly from time to time, from post to post, and then comparing those against each other and also against the other target groups.
To which extent does social media really give Ecophon this much needed competitive edge that any B2B needs today in the market?
I think it's around a combination of sharing our story and our knowledge in a useful and consistent way. So I don't think a single tweet will close the deal as such. That's not how we at least look at social media. So it's more about being present and, like I said, being an active member of the community, which hopefully then down the line, when the customer is ready, they'll come to us because that'll be, a natural choice to them.
Excellent. Now to finish it off really, so if there are still B2Bs out there not really being sure about their content strategy and all that kind of stuff, you obviously have loads of experience in this space. If you had to give those guys one single piece of advice, what would that be?
Just not to worry too much and to test, just simply test what works and what doesn't. I mentioned previously some A/B testing that we did via advertising. I do recommend that simply because you can control a lot of the variables, and so it gives you quite reliable insight. So that's one way, and yeah, basically just not worry too much about it and test and see how you go.
Really good, Nina. Thank you so much. It was really insightful, really good. I think for any B2B, it's relevant because most B2Bs don't have loads of visibility. What they do is not really understood in the market. So creating awareness via content on social media is a really relevant topic. I think you guys do a stellar job. So thank you for that. Very insightful, Nina. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. It was a pleasure.